All right, hot take time.
Yeah.
You got one?
I got one, man.
Okay.
So I was looking at all the Canadian teams.
Yeah.
There's only one team that's, I think, officially said, hey, we're going to come out and rebuild.
Okay.
And that team is the Calgary Flames.
Really?
I think in the next 5 years, I think like they're not going to be the flashiest team, but I think they will probably be one of the better Canadian teams. I think they might even be the best.
Okay, that's a
Yeah,
pretty
so
wild take there.
It is a wild take. It's pretty wild. Like a lot of people are going to be like, this guy's dumb and stuff like that. But like I got some facts. I did a bunch of research, so let me just pull up my notes because I had to take a lot of notes.
Yeah, because there are a lot of competitive. There's a lot of teams.
Prospect wise, like I was looking at like farm systems and what team has the best.
Yeah.
Like right now, San Jose, Montreal is up there.
Boston has pretty decent.
Yeah. Too. So, but another team surprisingly up there is Calgary. They're top 10.
Okay.
And so like a couple of their players like Zane Prick.
Yeah.
He's like obvious. Everyone knows about him, right? After World Juniors. And then you have Cole Reshny.
Yeah.
He's 18th overall in 2005. Decent player. I think he's with the team now.
Yeah.
Same with Sam Honzek. He's a left winger. He's with the team now. 16th overall in 2023. Then they have Hunter. I can't pronounce his last name, but another D-man. He's 75th overall in 2003. I think he's just a scratch most nights, and he plays, I think, third line.
Calgary has a history of actually developing really good defensemen.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then Cullen Porter and Cullen Porter and I think it is Reshny, actually. I think they both play with, they're both playing college in North Dakota, and they're doing really well.
Yeah.
And then Matthew Coronado, everyone knows already. Yeah, he's already with the team.
Coronado
playing on
is
third line.
21,
so
I think 22.
That's right now their top prospects. I think really good. And you try and look at prospects where you want the strength to be. It's kind of all over the place. Like they have a couple good D-men that are coming up. They have a really good, like Sam Honzek, he's supposed to be a decent left winger.
Yeah.
And then they have two really good guys up and coming, like Cullen Porter. And he's a bit on the smaller side, but Reshny is supposed to be really good. And they're going to be your sentiment for the future. So you have that. And then goaltending is probably one of their best.
Yeah, Wolf is cemented.
Yeah, so like you kind of have your big checklist in terms of prospects. And I think Wolf is going to be kind of peaking around that time when they're ready to compete. Yeah. So you have that side of it. And then in terms of building for the future, just right now, their draft pick for next year, they have 5 picks in the top 3 rounds. So they have Calgary first, Vegas first, Calgary second, Vancouver third, and a Calgary third. Yeah. So you're going to get decent prospect. And right now, let's look at their trade bait guys. They have Rasmus Anderson and Blake Coleman are going to be your 2 guys. Yeah. That, they're on their UFA, so like you can kind of move off of them. And then like I kind of like Kadri there. I think he's like their veteran presence on the team too. So you have him and Uyghur. They're both on long-term contracts. I think they keep Uyghur too. Yeah. But those are 2 potential guys. And then another thing they have going for them is they have cap space. So right now they have 18.9 mil.
18, yeah.
So one thing about having that cap space is they can afford to eat the contracts of Rasmus Anderson and Blake Coleman if they do move them. And hopefully they can get more prospect cap or more draft pick compensation because they'd be willing to eat that cap hit, right? And I think next year going in, they're at 8.7 million projected. That's because Wolf's contract's going to kick in and stuff. So there's that. And like, let's look at the way their team's kind of structured right now. You look at it, there's no really big star on the team, but in terms of lines, like they can roll 4 lines. Like I think that third line is just as decent as because he, what's his name is, but Coronado's playing on that third line. He can, you know what I mean? Yeah. They have balanced lines, good 2-way players. I think their team's constructed with forwards, but they're all very decently defensive minded forwards too. They're not like crazy offensively and then irresponsible on the defensive side. So you look at that, and a lot of their players too. You can move them around the lineup. Like you can put Huberdeau on the wing on the first line. I think that's where he's playing right now, right? He can play center. He came through as a center when he was younger, so he does take faceoffs some nights.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna place him on a competitive team. I don't think I'll put Huberdeau on center.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they have that's just one of the players, but you can kind of so there's that, and that's the way I think the modern NHL is going. Like you see Florida, like really they run through all 3 of their lines, like their top 3 lines decently, and they have a lot of flexibility with where they can play players too, and I think that's one way the modern NHL is going. So So we talked about draft picks, goaltending stability, and they have a clear direction. It's not like teams like Winnipeg where they're like, oh, is it retool? Or same thing with Vancouver, right? Like Vancouver still think that
Vancouver, man, that like we were talking about Patrick Alvin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think a couple of weeks ago when they made the Quinn Hughes trade, everybody thought, all the fans, everybody's like, all right, finally, the story's over. We got our guys, right? You got Zeev Buyum and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they said, we're going to do a hybrid retool. The fans are like, what the hell does this mean? Holy shit, here we go again. We're going to go back to the same crap. We're going to sign, certain players like maybe Kiefer Sherwood and everything. And then Vancouver's been losing. I think they're like 2-8 in the last 10.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like fully acknowledging that we're going to do a rebuild, right? So I'm just like, I'm wondering with the with the Vancouver Canucks, so like, do they just sit there? Maybe the ownership just sits there. They go to sleep. They wake up next day. They see the score. Like, rebuild. And 2 days later, they win 2 games. Like, all right, retool. Like, make up your minds. Like,
so that's
you gotta,
the thing,
like
right?
your leadership is so confused of what they want to do. If they can't even make up their mind, if it's a retool a couple of years ago and now it's a rebuild, like 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's what I was saying, right? Like
doing?
Right now, they're the only Canadian team I think that's officially like just they're in rebuild mode. You look at let's start in the East. So you got your Montreal. They're not rebuilding, right?
No, they're not rebuilding. They're still they're transitioning into becoming competitive.
That's right.
Like,
And the same thing with Ottawa, still in that,
in the low thing.
And then Toronto, they're competing, right?
Yeah, Toronto's more on the tail end.
Same
of
thing.
Yeah,
with Winnipeg, they like
with Jets
they're
are also on the
retooling.
tail end. They're not really retooling right now either.
Yeah, but I think
they're more on like we're
compete,
still gonna we're gonna compete,
so
but we're gonna figure it out.
Edmonton, they're competing. Vancouver, who knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah, Vancouver. Yeah, with Edmonton's gonna be interesting because like 2-year contract for McDavid and
one thing
these contracts expire, what happens with the Oilers?
One thing a lot of people don't realize too is like they're playing in the West Coast. They're not playing on the East, and I think in the West Coast there's a little bit more space. Like it's not as competitive. I think top to bottom.
You know what's funny? Like because when you were watching the 2000s, West was so deep. Centermen, everybody had a number one center.
Yep,
the big bodies on that side. It was such a fast game, very competitive. And then you look at the East, it used to be not that great, and now it's like polar opposite. You could look at the standings too. You're like, wow, like none of these teams could really compete in the East right now.
Well,
so that's the Oilers. You talked about the Canucks. Talk about the Flames now. Talked about the Jets. Talked about the Leafs, Ottawa, Montreal. Sure, you're saying so. Your hot take was in the next 5 years, Calgary is gonna be the most competitive team.
I think they're gonna be the most balanced and most competitive.
So when you say
they're not gonna be flashy. Like when I see them, like the biggest thing for them is that like the biggest negative for them is that like that I see is that Huberdeau contract, $10 million a year.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that point.
So that's
after me asking you this, but. When you're saying competitive and more successful, do you mean like more deeper into the playoffs?
I think out of all the Canadian teams, I think they'll have probably the best chance of getting to or making a deep playoff run. Honestly, because let's start with Toronto, right?
No. Let's
go through compare them to Toronto.
Sure.
So let's start with Toronto, right? 5 years. Right, their guys are going to be up there.
At Leafs it's going to be they're starting all over again.
That's it. So they're going to be.
They're already going to. I think in 5 years they should already be in the middle of it.
Yep. So like let's look at Toronto's advantages. Like they have elite power, like elite top end talent, right? Like you got Nylander, Matthews,
correct,
right? They have good offensive ceiling, and then you look at Calgary's like advantages. I think they're going to have a more balanced roster.
But the thing is, but one thing you're missing in this argument is that. Yes, they have a more balanced team. Sure, you could talk about their prospects. Great. But to get a franchise number one center, right, is hard. It took Leafs very long time. If you go look at the Montreal Canadiens, they were struggling without a number one center for a very long time. And then Suzuki came, and he technically came by mistake.
Well,
right?
even I see it like I don't see you need a number one center. Like they have two really good guys. Like I was talking about what their names again.
Yeah, but when you have a prospect pool, so what I'm trying to explain to you is when you have a prospect, you have some great players. And when they come into the NHL, of course, you don't know where they're going to slot into your team. There's you're not getting a Connor McDavid coming into the draft. Like, but you get what I mean? Like even if the kid's doing really well in the farm and then when they come up, they could have been a number one center then, but when they come up, they could be a number 3 center. So until that you don't draft a really top end top 5, like you need a draft really hit.
Well, even for them too, right? Like because they have so much cap flexibility, like they don't even have to go the draft route, right? They can afford to sign someone in free agency.
But people don't easily just walk into Calgary and
No, I understand that too, right? But like if they see the vision, I think because like Calgary, it's hard to say, right? Because like they've been really good at developing talent. Like both Goudreau came through there, and same thing with Kachuk, right?
Yeah,
and so they're decent.
No, I'm not really arguing with that point of view of what Calgary can do, because they've had history of developing great players.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell you is like, if I'm talking about if I'm on your side right now, if I want to compare with other teams, Vancouver, sure, you win the battle with Vancouver because Vancouver's behind 5 years. The organizations is a mess.
It's just
they even if they have the pieces, even if they get the pieces, I feel like they're still going to drop the ball, right? So forget about them. The Edmonton Oilers, sure, we could talk about the Edmonton Oilers as in, is McDavid and Draisaitl going to be there or not? I feel like if McDavid and Draisaitl are going to be there, if they extend past their 2-year contracts, then your argument can die there. But that's a big what if, right? So that's the Oilers. So that's Oilers' point of view. I feel like.
Well, McDavid's 29. Do you think a 35-year-old McDavid is still still going to be playing the same? I don't think so.
Because you're not. These are not normal players.
No,
McDavid,
I know.
McDavid at 40 is still going to be a great player.
But the thing about McDavid that makes him so special right now is his skating and speed.
But I don't think the speed's going away.
I don't know.
He's not. You are not comparing him with Phil Kessel, man. This is not like one of those kind of guys. He's a special player. Like you could look at Sidney Crosby at age of 39. He is going to be right next to that, man.
Well, Draisaitl's 30, right? So Draisaitl is different because I don't think he plays speed-wise.
Yeah,
that's not his game, right? But McDavid...
But they're franchise players, man.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's super high-end talent. And like they've already taken pay cuts. And you look at their roster construction, like they're bottom 6.
In the next 5 years, they could still win a cup.
I don't know. I think they're like... By the time Calgary peaks, I think they're going to be on the back end of like,
no, I get
so
that.
That's what,
but I think with the Oilers, the interesting with them is like with guys like Darnell Nurse and all the bad contracts they have. I think even the Campbell contract, they could get in the next 5 years, they could get rid of all those contracts, and then they could go younger easily, very quick. When you have 2 franchise players like that, and you got Bouchard in the back end, which they signed, I think, a 3-year contract, which I think they should trade. But in the next 5 years, if they make a couple of tools, they could easily build a team around McDavid. And then they're back up there again. Yes, you have more competitive battle of Alberta's, which will be fun for everybody. To say that Calgary is going to be the most competitive, I'm just trying to make your point right now. With the Edmonton Oilers, because there's uncertainty with McDavid actually re-signing, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there. But I think if he re-signs there and Draisaitl's there long term,
I think
things change.
I think they'll both be there long term. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to be like
so
a
then
franchise
that argument is a little different. With the Jets, on the other hand, when you look at the Jets, Jets have a very tough time attracting free agents, and even when it comes to their draft pools, they're not really great at drafting their own players. They have missed on a lot of them. They've only had a handful of good drafts. So I'll give you there as well. I think the Jets will struggle much more because they're an organization that are really afraid of going on a full rebuild because because it's such a small market that they heavily rely on attendance. Well, even they got no attendance.
Even like for me, like the biggest team that I thought you'd be questioning about is Montreal.
No, I'm going there. That's why I'm working my way from the west to the east. Okay. So with the Jets, that's my thing is, yes, I think the Calgary Flames could turn it around, and it's only because I think the Jets are their own worst enemy. It's because their ownership is, I think, even when they need to fully rebuild, they're still going to retool. They're just afraid to rebuild. So that's that battle.
With Winnipeg, like their advantage is they have a strong defensive identity, and then their goaltending pedigree is like really
they're
good.
always hard to play against, but in 5 years, yes,
But that's what I'm saying. They're aging.
They're aging,
and they're slower team. And
they don't know. They can't attract free agents. And they haven't had the best luck with drafting players. So that's what I'm telling you. That's where you win. So I'll give you the battle there.
So even with them too, like they're going to have a lot of aging veterans too at the same time too. And then Calgary has way more assets going forward as well, right?
No,
and
they're
gonna get more assets.
I think what I'm trying to explain to you right now, even if the Jets had enough prospects enough picks, if they have the same amount of picks as Calgary, just in
You
the
trust-
past,
You
the
trust
Calgary
Calgary more?
has hit more on their drafts than the Jets have. Jets have not done well. They have actually busted on a few players. So there, I'll give you the win.
The biggest one is, what's his name? The same guy that got drafted with Matthews.
Oh, you're talking about
Line, yeah.
Line hasn't. Yeah, Line didn't really. He had a year. I think he had a 42 goal season, which we thought that he's gonna turn it around, but it didn't happen. So, anyways, that's the Jets. With the Leafs, yeah, the Leafs have they're bare, like they have nothing in the cupboards. They're bare, and for them to start all over in 5 years, I will give you the benefit there.
Yep.
I do see that they don't even have. It's gonna take them when they do want to start from scratch. I feel like if they don't trade Matthews or Nylander at the right time, it is gonna hurt them hard. So I'll give you there.
Okay.
Ottawa Senators. I think this is where I feel like you will start losing a little bit because they have guys like Sanderson who are super young. They don't have the goaltending that's there yet at all, right? You still got Brady Tkachuk, who I don't know if he will re-sign and stay there long term, but they got Tim Stützle, right? So as long as they have these super young kids, I feel like they're still going to be competitive in 5 years. So Ottawa, in general, Ottawa actually has a better record of drafting better players.
But the problem with Ottawa that I see too is like just their organizational stability. Like,
yeah, but I think with the new ownership that they had, not like they're gonna have, and they're gonna have the new arena too. They're actually spending more money now. They're not at they're not at the floor anymore. They're not like what they used to be, right? So
the questions for me too with Ottawa is like their goaltending, like what's gonna happen. Like Allmark, even he's there right now and he's not playing the best.
Yeah, but in 5 years, Ottawa just has a good record. Ottawa has a good record of getting good goaltending. Like even like when you go look at their defense with like Shabbat's a little bit, he's not like old, but like he will be on more of the veteran end by the time in the next 5 years.
The things that kind of like I look at too is like cap space. Like, okay,
they will have cap space.
Well, they have right now. It's $5 million.
Giroux's not going to be there anymore. He's going to retire by then.
Well, next year,
Perron also going to be gone as well too. That's quite a bit of money.
So Brady Tkachuk's like on a decent contract, $8 million. Same thing with Stützle. Cousins is $7 million.
These are good contracts, man.
Yeah. Shane Pinto, $7.5.
That's a good
kicks
contract.
in next year.
Yeah.
Where's
but I'm telling you, look at their veteran players on their team. They're not going to be there in 5 years.
Where's Tkachuk?
So Perron is at $4 million UFA. I'm saying you're talking about. Listen, I think you're getting caught up in your own hot take right now. You are looking at today, and you are expecting that this is going to happen in 5 years. In 5 years,
no, I get a lot to change, right?
But you got to understand that Ottawa and Montreal have way more flexibility as to making trades around their franchise players within the next 5 years than Calgary Flames does. Because in 5 years, Calgary's still trying to figure out who their core players is. They're still going to be trying to figure it out.
Well, I think
with these teams, they're already going to have the core established. They're going to be moving guys on the sides around. So they're going to be a little ahead of them. But when it comes to the competitive edge that you're talking about, that's a different story because with Ottawa and Montreal, they're great offensive scoring teams. But we know that these kind of styles don't always work out.
That's what I was saying. I was saying like the way Calgary's, like you could see even right now, the way they're trying to structure their roster, it's very like even just watching their games this year and the way they're playing, it's more defensively sound than I think even though their record doesn't reflect it.
Yeah.
Just the way they play it more sound on the back end. And the thing too that you look at decor wise and like young prospects coming up, I think Calgary's going to have the best decor. Like let's say they keep Uyghur, they keep
I think Uyghur's going to be a little old by then.
No, he'll be up there, but he'll be a back it's maybe a player you move.
The veteran guy, yeah.
Veteran guy, right?
Yeah.
And you got Ball, he's decent defenseman, still young. He's only 25 years old, right?
Yeah.
And Zane Parekh. And then I think like this year, I don't think Calgary's gonna win the I don't think they're gonna get number 1 overall, but they have I think a really good chance at getting like a top 5 pick. And like let's say they draft a Verhoff or they draft the guy from Sweden, the kid from Sweden.
Yeah.
There's your number 1 center, right?
Yeah.
So
no, I know, but I'm just for me it would be I'd say about Ottawa with Montreal. I think Montreal is very close.
So the thing that I have for Montreal is they're really up against the cap. They only have 89K in cap space available now, and then going into next year, they're only gonna have 40K.
But the cap is by the next 5 years. The cap is moving up.
No, the cap's moving up too. But the problem is too, a lot of these kids, they're gonna be up for renewals, right?
Yeah.
So where do you go from there? Like Damidov's gonna get paid once his contract's done. So like, you know what I mean? Like all these guys, they're gonna get paid, right? And sure, they have young guys and they have a lot of prospects coming up, but these prospects need to get paid.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with Calgary, like other than that Huberdeau contract.
Yeah, Huberdeau.
Contract.
That okay. So now you brought it up because you reminded me.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't get out of that contract.
No, it's no. I get.
So that contract, I think the argument there, if you're gonna compete with Montreal doesn't have a single bad contract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. And with Ottawa, I don't think that there is a terrible contract that they have. But with Calgary, they're stuck with this huge anchor, which is Huberdeau. So until you can't get rid of that contract, they're going to have to buy him out, or they're going to have to eat some of his cap. And if you're doing that stuff, then you're already a step behind.
Well, even let's say the realistic thing is, okay, like let's say they eat up like 4 million cap space and trade him to another team, they'll take 6. 4 million in cap space is not going to really.
Yeah, but he has 5 years left still?
Yeah.
That kind of kills your window there.
No, but like, I don't know. I think seriously, like though, if you think about it, like let's say they get rid of 4. Because even Edmonton, they're still eating Campbell's contract.
And I mean, and that's the reason why the Oilers haven't won the cup.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, like you look at it, but a lot of their players that they're drafting and that are going to be coming in, they're going to be still on their entry level deals.
I understand, but Montreal also has really good prospects moving up.
But I said, they're so much tighter against that cap, which is why I feel like
no, but they're not. But they're not even on the team yet.
No, they're not on the team.
Their factory is already like overloaded and is just shooting out talent. And Calgary's just getting started.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So I think by the time that you're gonna be talking about, oh, should we re-sign Suzuki or Caulfield or anything, and then you're substituting with a Demidov maybe taking over. Calgary doesn't have that problem because they don't have enough talent.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's the thing.
But what I'm saying is like future outlook wise, in terms of like what they can be and with the assets that they have, even before they trade or made any of these trades, right, going to this year's deadline. Yeah. Like I think for Anderson, I think they'll get like a first or a second for him.
Yeah, they will. They'll get a first. I think they're talking about getting like 2 B-level prospects in the
first. And same thing with Coleman, right? I think you can get a similar thing for him.
Yeah.
That frees up a lot more cap space too, right? And their UFAs, they can eat cap. And I think the fact that they have the cap space to eat more, I think you get a lot more in return.
The only thing, just to kind of finish this entire debate, I think you can get as many picks as you want, just like Montreal has. But I think Montreal has had a higher rate of hitting on those picks, those second rounders and those third rounders and later round picks. And they have actually built on some kids that are coming up. And they have crazy talent. I don't think I've seen any team this year that have hit on more picks that are coming up that are actually creating a huge like buzz than the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, the problem is with like Calgary's, a lot of their like they just officially started.
No, I know that I understand rebuild, they started. Right? It's just that even if you say that you lose, I don't know, you lose Suzuki, or let's just say you lose Caulfield in free agency, or he gets traded or whatever. There's another guy to replace.
Well, so that's the thing, right? So like the way I see it is like still Calgary and Montreal, like those are going to be my like 2. But the one big advantage Calgary has, and like no one talks about it, they play in the West. They don't play.
But you're looking at that today because the West looks weak. No, in 5 years, West is going to look different because you got teams like San Jose. But then you also get Chicago.
But you got aging teams as well in the West too, right? So like you'll look
there's
at
the aging teams in the East as well. There's a lot of aging teams.
But it's more competitive, I think, in the East, right? And then in the West, I think you have a little bit more.
But that wind blows because 2 years ago it was the other way around, and then by the time those players come up, now you're screwed.
Right? I gotta look at what we have now.
No,
right?
I know. But if you're gonna look at it as of right now, and then you're gonna talk about next 5 years, you gotta also talk about all the things in between that can happen.
But that's what I'm saying too, right? You could look at it both ways. Yeah. You can also say that Calgary,
I get your point,
like they tank and then they can get like so like they're still in it for like to get
because your whole point is that they're going to be able to go deeper because they're more competitive and is less competition on that side as to what Montreal has to go through in the Atlantic.
Yeah, and there's that too. And then on top of it too, like honestly, like they've had a good history of hitting on their prospects. It's just getting the prospects to stay there.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's their biggest issue. Imagine if Huberdeau and not Huberdeau. What's his name? Kachuk and
like Goudreau.
Goudreau stayed,
Monahan.
right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So imagine if those guys stay, and Monahan too, right? Like imagine how different the team looks now.
Yeah.
With a Kadri, Coronado, Zane
Yeah.
Prick coming in, and like he hasn't played much this year with
Yeah.
the big club, but still, right? Like,
yeah, of course. No, I don't know for sure.
you know what
For
I mean?
sure.
Like I think they'd be just right in there, like with, like I don't think they'll be in the top, but they'll probably be like
Yeah.
a top 6 team.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
no, for
bottom
sure.
bottom 6, like not bottom 6, but like 6 to 8 team.
Yeah,
going to
again,
the
it'll be a
playoffs.
bubble team.
Yeah.